They never thought you'd figure it out. They never expected you to wake up. And now they're running, scared. They thought they had you buried, locked away in a web of lies, deception, and manipulation. They worked in the shadows, pulling strings, whispering doubts into your mind, crafting a world where you would never question, never resist, never realize that the entire game was rigged against you. But something happened. You woke up. And when a chosen one wakes up, the entire system starts to shake. You weren't meant to see the cracks in their illusion, yet here you are, standing in the ruins of the empire they built on your silence. And now, they're scrambling, they're terrified, because they know, once the truth is out, there's no running from it. If you've ever felt like the world turned against you the moment you started speaking the truth, this message is for you, because you weren't just targeted, you were hunted. The lies weren't accidental, the betrayals weren't coincidence, and the obstacles weren't bad luck. Every single piece of your struggle was designed to keep you asleep. But now that you see through it, now that you've broken free, they have nowhere left to hide. The only thing keeping their illusion alive was your belief in it. And now, it's all crumbling. You're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're chosen. And the moment you exposed them, you became their worst nightmare. The weak don't fight what doesn't threaten them. They don't try to destroy what doesn't shake their foundation. But you didn't just threaten them. You shattered everything they stood for. And now, like rats scrambling from a sinking ship, they are running, desperately trying to salvage what little control they have left. But it's too late. The moment you stopped playing by their rules, the entire game collapsed. If you're done playing their game, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop 777 in the comments, a signal to the universe that you see through the illusion. Because when you engage, when you react, when you make your presence known, it doesn't just tell YouTube that more chosen ones need to hear this. It sends a message straight into the universe that you refuse to be silenced. Let's break it down, step by step, because the second you woke up, everything changed. They spent years trying to convince you that you were powerless, that you were ordinary, that your struggles were nothing more than bad luck. But the truth is, your power is what haunted them from the beginning. They saw it before you did. They recognized the force inside you before you ever had the chance to understand it. That's why they came for you. That's why they tried to sabotage you, isolate you, fill your mind with doubt. Because a chosen one who doubts themselves is easier to control than one who stands in their power. The real reason they hate you, it's not because you're wrong, it's because you're right. It's because everything they built was a lie, and you, just by existing, just by standing in your truth, exposed them without even trying. They never needed weapons against you. They just needed you to stay asleep, to stay blind, to stay quiet. But the second you opened your eyes, they lost control. Now, every whisper they spread about you is fueled by panic. Every attempt to discredit you is a desperate act of self-preservation. They aren't attacking because they're strong. They're attacking because they're weak. They know the tide has shifted. They feel it. And no matter what they try, they can't outrun the truth. Because the truth, it's you. Your very existence, your rise, your refusal to stay in the box they built for you. It's the proof that they never had real power. You were never under their control. You were just under their illusion. And now that the illusion is broken, they're the ones who are afraid. They tried to break you, but they only built you. They tried to silence you, but they only made your voice louder. They tried to destroy you, but all they did was ignite something inside you that they will never be able to put out. And now, the reckoning begins. Number 1. They sold you a lie, and you just burned it to the ground. The greatest trick the enemy ever pulled was convincing you that you were powerless. The second greatest, thinking they could keep you that way. They thought their deception would last forever. They thought their lies were strong enough to cage you, their manipulation deep enough to keep you asleep. They whispered in your ear, carefully crafted an illusion, made you question your own mind, your own worth. They built their entire foundation on one single fragile hope, that you would never, ever wake up. But now, the illusion is dust, and the fire that burns from its ruins. That's you. They fed you lies wrapped in half-truths, poison disguised as wisdom. This is just the way the world works. People like you never make it. You should be grateful for what you have. Lies, all of them, meant to keep you complacent, meant to keep you small, meant to keep you doubting yourself just enough that you never thought to challenge the system they built. Because the moment you did, the moment you even so much as questioned their version of reality, it all started to fall apart. That's what scares them the most. Not just that you see through their game, but that your awakening is setting fire to every lie they've ever told. Because when one chosen one wakes up, it creates a ripple effect. Your truth isn't just dangerous to them, it's contagious. Look through history. Every system of control, every empire built on deceit, every ruler who thrived off the ignorance of the people, they all had one thing in common. They fell. Rome burned. Tyrants were overthrown. Kingdoms built on oppression crumbled into dust. Why? Because no matter how powerful the deception, no matter how high they build their walls, the truth always finds a way through the cracks. And you are that truth. You are the storm they never prepared for. Think about every visionary, every trailblazer, every revolutionary who ever walked this earth. They were mocked before they were respected, hated before they were admired, lied about, attacked, betrayed, all because they refused to swallow the illusion they were force-fed. Nikola Tesla, called insane. Malcolm X, called dangerous. Joan of Arc, burned at the stake. The ones who see through the system are always targeted, not because they're wrong, but because they threaten the foundation of control itself. And that's exactly why they came for you. They never attacked you because you were weak. They attacked you because you are the type of person who shifts the balance, the type who sees what others don't, the type who could never truly be controlled, no matter how much they tried. They could sense it before you even understood it yourself. That power inside you, that fire, that undeniable force that made you different. You ever wonder why certain people get away with everything while you got attacked for simply existing? Why the liars, the manipulators, the deceivers thrive while people like you, truth-tellers, empaths, free spirits, are constantly pushed down? It's because they don't fear the deceivers. They fear the ones who can't be deceived. They fear the ones they can't manipulate. They fear you. Every time you questioned them, they called you paranoid. Every time you challenged their narrative, they called you difficult. Every time you tried to break free, they threw obstacles in your path. It wasn't because you were wrong, it was because you were a threat. And now, as the illusion crumbles, as the lies they've built their entire existence on start to turn to ash, they are desperate. You see, their control was never real power. It was only ever an illusion. A castle made of glass, a throne built on shifting sand. It only worked as long as you believed in it. That's why they worked so hard to make you doubt yourself. That's why they attacked your confidence, your self-worth, your voice. Because if you ever realized what you truly are, if you ever stood in your power completely, they wouldn't stand a chance. And now they are watching as the fire spreads. Now they are witnessing the reckoning. Because you aren't just waking up, you are waking up others. You aren't just freeing yourself, you are dismantling the entire system that was built to keep you in chains, and there is nothing they can do to stop it. They thought they could break you with rejection, but rejection only redirected you towards something greater. They thought they could silence you with shame, but shame only made you stronger. They thought they could erase you from the story, but you were never just a character. You are the author of your own fate, and that drives them insane, because everything they ever told you was a lie. You were never small, you were never meant to blend in, you were never meant to be another cog in their machine, quietly spinning while they drained you of your light. You were meant to destroy the machine. This is why they ran smear campaigns against you. This is why people turned on you without reason. This is why no matter how much you gave, no matter how much you loved, no matter how much you sacrificed, it was never enough. Because they were never looking for peace. They were looking for submission. And now that you refuse to bow, they have no idea what to do with you. They never prepared for this moment. They never thought you'd break free. They thought you'd always stay trapped in self-doubt, constantly seeking their validation, their approval. They thought you'd keep playing the role they assigned to you. But now you're writing your own script. They built their power on deception, and you just burned it to the ground. And the fire, it doesn't stop here. Because now it's time to watch them scramble, to watch them choke on their own lies, drown in the chaos they created, suffocate under the weight of the very system they built. Because when a chosen one stops believing in the lie, the entire illusion collapses. And that is exactly what is happening right now. Number 2, they called you crazy because the truth was too dangerous. The first step in silencing a truth-teller is to make the world doubt them. The second step, to make them doubt themselves. But when a chosen one refuses to break, the lie becomes the very weapon that destroys the liar. They never needed to prove you wrong. They never even tried, because they knew they couldn't. Instead, they did the next best thing. They attacked your credibility. They didn't argue with facts. They didn't counter your truth with proof. No, they took the coward's way out. They called you crazy. Why? Because the truth terrifies them. Not just any truth, your truth. The moment you started seeing beyond the surface, the moment you started questioning the narrative, you became a problem. And in their world, problems don't get debated. They get discredited. Think about it. Every great mind that ever challenged the system, every visionary that ever dared to speak against the ruling powers was called insane before they were called genius. Galileo, branded a heretic for saying the earth revolved around the sun. Nikola Tesla, laughed at when he spoke of free energy. Joan of Arc, burned alive because she claimed to hear the truth from a higher power. The world doesn't attack liars. It attacks those who expose them. That's why they came for you. Not because you were wrong, but because you were right in a way that threatened everything they built. They had spent years, decades, even generations constructing a system of control so seamless, so airtight, that they never imagined someone like you would come along. Someone who doesn't just see the cracks, but is willing to break through them. And that made you dangerous. So they did what they always do when a chosen one starts speaking too loudly. They mocked you. They ridiculed you. They whispered behind your back, spread rumors, painted you as unstable, paranoid, delusional. Not because they truly believed it, but because they needed everyone else to. Because here's their greatest fear. If people start listening to you, the illusion falls apart. They needed to make sure no one took you seriously. They needed to make sure the moment you started speaking, people rolled their eyes instead of opening them. They needed to make sure that whenever you exposed the truth, the only response you got was laughter. And if that didn't work, they went for the next step, making you doubt yourself. Because the real trick isn't just convincing others that you're crazy, it's making you believe it too. They isolated you. They made you second-guess your own thoughts. They took your confidence, your intuition, your gut instincts, the very things that make a chosen one powerful, and turned them against you. Maybe I am overthinking it. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Maybe I'm the problem. No, you were never the problem. The system was. You ever notice how the only people who get labeled as crazy are the ones questioning the lies, the ones exposing the corruption, the ones who refuse to live in denial? You never see them calling the deceivers crazy. You never see them questioning the ones who blindly follow the script. Because conformity isn't dangerous to them, but critical thinking, that's a weapon. And you didn't just think critically, you saw beyond what they wanted you to see. And once you saw the game, you stopped playing. And that's why they are scrambling now. That's why they're throwing everything at you. Because they know the truth doesn't die just because a liar screams louder. They know that no matter how much they try to discredit you, the truth doesn't bend. It doesn't fade. It doesn't belong to them. And now, it's spreading. That's the part they never prepared for. They thought if they could label you, the truth would disappear. They thought if they could turn people against you, your voice would lose its power. They thought if they could make you doubt yourself, you'd eventually back down. But they forgot something. A chosen one isn't chosen for nothing. The reason they fear you isn't because you're loud. It isn't because you're rebellious. It isn't because you refuse to fall in line. It's because no matter how many times they attack, you don't stay down. And now they're watching in horror as the very label they tried to use against you is starting to backfire. Because the people they brainwashed, the ones who once laughed at you, who dismissed you, who turned their backs on you, they're starting to wake up too. They're starting to ask questions. They're starting to see the patterns. They're starting to wonder why, if you were so crazy, you were right about everything. And now, the liars are running out of places to hide. Because there's one thing more powerful than deception, and that's exposure. And you just expose them. So let them panic. Let them scramble to control the damage. Let them try to cover up the cracks in the illusion. It's too late. Because the moment a chosen one speaks a truth that can't be ignored, the entire system starts to shake. And now, the shaking has begun. Number 3. They tried to bury you, but they just planted a warrior. They thought they were covering your light. They thought they were silencing your voice. They thought they were burying you in the darkness of their lies. But what they didn't realize was, you weren't buried. You were planted. And now, you're growing into something they can't control. They came at you from every angle. The betrayals, the lies, the sabotage. It was all orchestrated. It was never about a single mistake, a misunderstanding or an accident. No, this was a setup. They weren't just trying to hurt you, they were trying to break you. Every dagger in your back, calculated. Every loss that seemed unfair, designed to wear you down. Every person who turned on you, put there to make you doubt yourself. It was never random. They didn't attack you because you were weak. They attacked you because they sensed your strength before you even knew it yourself. They saw your light, your power, your potential, and they knew if they didn't stop you early, they'd never be able to stop you at all. So, they made you fight battles you never should have had to fight. They threw obstacles at you, not to test you, but to exhaust you. They wanted you to give up before you ever realized what you were capable of. They wanted you to doubt yourself so much that you willingly handed over your power. They wanted you to second-guess every decision until you were too paralyzed to move forward. They wanted you to become so drained, so broken, so tired, that you never questioned why life felt like an uphill battle, because a chosen one who is exhausted is easier to control than a chosen one who is rising. But here's where they made their biggest mistake. They underestimated your resilience. They thought that if they pushed hard enough, if they betrayed you deeply enough, if they sabotaged you in just the right ways, you would fall and never get back up. But you didn't just survive. You evolved. They thought they were burying you, but all they did was plant a seed that would grow into something stronger, unshakable, untouchable. You see, real power isn't about never falling. Real power is about getting back up so many times that falling loses its meaning. And you've been through everything they thought would break you, and yet here you are, still standing, still fighting, still growing. And now they're afraid, because they thought they had time. They thought their attacks would delay you long enough that they could keep their grip on you. But what they never expected was that every hit you took was forging you into something unstoppable. They see it now. The fire they tried to put out has only gotten stronger. And now, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. The betrayals that were supposed to break your spirit, they taught you who you could truly trust. The losses that were meant to weaken you, they cleared space for something greater. The sabotage that was supposed to slow you down, it only sharpened your instincts. You are no longer the person they tried to destroy. You are stronger, wiser, smarter, and now you are a warrior they cannot control. They thought you would be easy to defeat. They thought you would stay down. They thought the weight of everything they did to you would keep you from rising. But what happens when a seed finally pushes through the dirt? It doesn't just grow, it takes over, it spreads. And now, you are the storm. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their validation. You don't even need revenge. Because your existence is the revenge. Every time you rise, they feel it. Every time you succeed, they know they failed. Every time you step into your power, they realize they should have never come for you in the first place, because you weren't just meant to survive their attacks. You were meant to outgrow them. And now they can't reach you, because while they were busy trying to bury you, you were becoming something greater than they ever imagined. They tried to stop you, but they only set you free. Number 4, they never wanted justice. They wanted control. The greatest lie ever told was that the system was built for fairness. It was never about justice. It was never about truth. It was always about keeping the powerful in power and making sure you never realized you could take it back. They dressed it up nicely, didn't they? They made it look like fairness, like morality, like a noble cause. They talked about equality, about doing the right thing, about upholding integrity. But underneath it all, it was never about righteousness. It was about control. They built the illusion of justice, but justice never had a seat at their table. They set the rules, but only for you. They preached fairness, but only when it benefited them. They demanded honesty, but they lied to your face without hesitation. Because for them, justice was never the goal. Obedience was. They needed you to believe in their system. They needed you to play by their rules. They needed you to believe that if you just worked harder, stayed in line, and followed their guidelines, things would eventually go in your favor. But deep down, you knew, didn't you? You knew the game was rigged. You saw how they bent the rules for themselves while punishing others for stepping out of line. And the moment you called it out, the moment you even hinted that something didn't add up, that's when the mask slipped. That's when they turned on you. Because their power doesn't come from fairness, it comes from illusion. They wanted you to believe they were the moral ones, the righteous ones, the ones who held the keys to justice, to truth, to order. But it was all an act to keep you in line, to keep you looking up to them, to keep you from realizing that justice was never in their hands. It was always in yours. That's why they panicked when you saw through them. That's why they fought so hard to silence you. That's why they smeared your name, twisted your words, and made you look like the enemy. Because control only works on those who don't know they're being controlled. The moment you saw their hypocrisy, their entire system started to crack. The moment you stopped believing in their justice, they lost their grip on you. The moment you refused to play their game, the game itself began to fall apart. You ever notice how the loudest voices demanding justice are the first to break their own rules? The ones who preach fairness the hardest are the ones who refuse to be held accountable. The ones who demand honesty are the first to lie when it serves them. That's because power doesn't corrupt, it reveals. And what did it reveal about them? That they never cared about balance, that they never cared about truth, that they never cared about you. They only cared about keeping you in check, making sure you never stepped out of the role they assigned you, making sure you never questioned why the odds were always stacked against you. And when you finally did, when you stopped bowing to their authority, when you refused to be another pawn in their game, they called you the problem. They didn't call you a liar because you were lying. They called you a liar because you told the truth. They didn't call you dangerous because you were harming anyone. They called you dangerous because you exposed the ones who were. They didn't call you rebellious because you were causing chaos. They called you rebellious because you refused to be controlled. And that scared them more than anything. Because what happens when people stop believing in their illusion? What happens when people start seeing that the ones who claim to stand for justice are actually the ones upholding oppression? What happens when the chosen ones refuse to be manipulated, refuse to be silent, refuse to accept the system that was never built for them in the first place? The entire structure collapses, and that's what they fear the most. Not your strength, not your intelligence, not even your voice. What they fear is the moment when their control stops working. And you are proof that that moment has already begun. They can no longer manipulate you with empty promises. They can no longer pacify you with false hope. They can no longer guilt trip you into submission. Because now you see it for what it is. The illusion of justice. Gone. The belief that they were on your side. Destroyed. The control they once had over you. Shattered. They wanted power. They wanted obedience. They wanted you silent, blind, and dependent on them for truth. But instead, they created a warrior who can no longer be deceived. And that is the beginning of the end for them. Number 5. They hated you for seeing what they couldn't hide. It was never about you being wrong. It was about them being exposed. They never feared your mistakes. They feared your clarity. And now, the walls they built to protect their deception are crumbling under the weight of your truth. They despise you, not because you lied, not because you manipulated, not because you were destructive, but because you saw through them, because you didn't just accept the version of reality they fed you, because you had the audacity to question, to challenge, to expose. There is nothing more terrifying to a deceiver than someone who sees them for what they really are. That's why they came after you. That's why they made you the villain. That's why, no matter how much you tried to explain yourself, no matter how much proof you had, no matter how clean your hands were, they still tried to destroy you. Because it was never about proving you wrong. It was about keeping their mask from slipping. Some people fear failure, but these people, they fear exposure even more. They built their entire existence on illusion, carefully crafted personas, false humility, staged righteousness. They thrive in deception, feeding off the ignorance of those who don't dare to look deeper. But you saw the cracks. You asked the questions no one else would ask. You pointed out the inconsistencies everyone else ignored. You saw the patterns, the hypocrisy, the contradictions, and you refused to stay silent about it. That made you dangerous. They could have handled a liar. They could have handled someone who played the same game they did, but they couldn't handle you, because you weren't playing a game. You were speaking truth, and truth, that's what they fear the most. The people who turned against you, who attacked you, who smeared your name, it wasn't because they didn't understand you. It was because they did. They recognized that what you were saying was real, and that terrified them. Because if they accepted your truth, they would have to face their own lies. And most people would rather fight against the truth than admit they built their entire life on a lie. So they tried to make you doubt yourself. They tried to twist your words. They tried to convince others that you were delusional, paranoid, crazy. Why? Because deception can only exist when people refuse to see. And you refused to close your eyes. That's why they reacted with such hostility. That's why they turned entire groups against you. That's why they made you the scapegoat. It was never about what you did. It was about what you saw. And now, the weight of their own deception is coming back to crush them. Because the thing about illusions, they only work as long as no one questions them. But the second someone starts poking holes in the facade, the entire structure begins to collapse. The second one person says, "Wait a minute, this doesn't add up." The illusion starts losing its power. The second people start seeing through the game, the players start losing control. And now they are out of control. Look at them, scrambling, panicking, trying to cover their tracks, trying to silence you, trying to distract the world from the fact that everything you said was right. Because they know the truth doesn't just go away. It doesn't fade. It spreads. First, they tried to laugh at you. Then, they tried to turn people against you. Now, they are trying to erase you. But they can't. Because you are not the problem. The problem is the deception they built. The problem is the weight of their own lies. And that weight, it's crushing them. The more they attack you, the more obvious it becomes that they are hiding something. The more they try to discredit you, the more people start asking, why are they so threatened by this? The more they scramble to silence you, the more people wonder, what is it they don't want us to know? They wanted to expose you, but all they did was expose themselves. Because truth isn't fragile, lies are. Truth doesn't need defense. Deception does. Truth doesn't need an army. But when deception is revealed, it needs an army of enforcers to keep it alive. And now they are running out of soldiers. People are starting to see. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to realize that you weren't crazy. You weren't wrong. You weren't imagining things. You were the only one who was willing to say it. And now, it's too late for them to take it back. The very foundation they stood on is crumbling. The very system they controlled is imploding. The very power they held is slipping through their fingers. Because once the truth is seen, it can never be unseen. And you were never the villain in this story. You were the mirror. And now, they are being forced to look at themselves. And that is their worst nightmare. Number 6. They wanted to erase you because they couldn't deceive you. A lie needs reinforcement. The truth stands alone. They couldn't make you believe their illusion, so they had only one option left: erase you. But instead of breaking, you became something they never expected. Untucker. They tried to control you. They tried to feed you the same scripted lies they give to everyone else. They thought you'd follow the path they laid out, obey the unspoken rules, and never question the system they built. But you refused. You saw through them. You refused to be manipulated, refused to be led blindly, refused to play the role they assigned you. That's when they knew, if they couldn't control you, they had to get rid of you. So they did what cowards always do. They didn't come at you directly. They didn't face you head-on. Instead, they worked in the shadows. Fake rumors, backstabbing, smear campaigns. They whispered behind closed doors, planted seeds of doubt in the minds of those around you, twisted your words, distorted your actions, and tried to turn the world against you before you even realized you were under attack. Because that's how deception works. It doesn't fight fair. It fights dirty. They wanted you erased. Not physically. No, that would have been too obvious. They wanted to erase your credibility, your influence, your very existence in the minds of others. They made sure people heard just enough lies to hesitate before believing you. They made sure your name carried just enough controversy to make people think twice before standing with you. They made sure the story was twisted just enough to make it impossible for you to defend yourself without looking guilty. Why? Because deception can't afford competition. The truth is simple. It's powerful. It doesn't need manipulation, control, or reinforcement. But a lie needs constant maintenance. It needs a support system. It needs believers, enforcers, and a network of deception to keep it alive. And you were a direct threat to everything they built. You couldn't be fooled. You couldn't be bought. You couldn't be silenced. So they tried to make you disappear. They thought if they isolated you, you'd break. They thought if they turned people against you, you'd fall apart. They thought if they removed your support system, you'd collapse under the weight of their attacks. But instead, you became something they never saw coming: untouchable. You see, isolation was supposed to weaken you, but it only made you stronger. Rejection was supposed to destroy your confidence, but it only confirmed your path. Their attempts to erase you only made you more unforgettable. Look at history. The ones who changed the world were never embraced at first. Martin Luther King Jr. was labeled an enemy of the state before he became a symbol of justice. Nelson Mandela was thrown into prison before he became a global icon of freedom. Jesus was crucified before his teachings spread across the world. The pattern is always the same. Those who expose the truth are attacked before they are acknowledged. So, when they tried to erase you, that wasn't proof of your failure. It was proof of your power. They needed you gone because as long as you existed, their illusion couldn't hold. As long as you spoke, their lies sounded weaker. As long as you stood tall, their control over others started to slip. And now they are running out of options, because no matter how hard they tried to erase you, you're still here. No matter how many lies they spread, the truth still stands. No matter how many people they turned against you, you still rise. And that's what's making them desperate, because the worst thing that could have happened has already happened. You didn't break. You didn't fold. You didn't disappear. You adapted. You grew. You became sharper, stronger, wiser. You learned to walk alone without fear. And now you don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't even need revenge, because you've already won. They did everything they could to erase you, to silence you, to destroy you, and yet here you are, more powerful than ever. And that's something they can never take away. Number 7. They needed you blind. Now they're terrified that you can see. Their power was never real. It was an illusion, a trick of the mind, a house of cards built on your willingness to believe in it. The moment you opened your eyes, the moment you saw through the deception, the entire structure began to collapse. And now they are scrambling, because a chosen one who sees is unstoppable. They never had real power over you, not once. What they had was control over your perception. They had the ability to twist reality just enough to make you doubt yourself. They had the cunning to feed you half-truths while hiding the full picture. They had the audacity to make you question your own intuition, to convince you that you were wrong, that you were overthinking, that you were imagining things. Because as long as you didn't see, as long as you were blind to the truth, they were safe. But the moment you opened your eyes, everything changed. It wasn't that they became weaker, it was that you stopped believing in their illusion, because that's what their power always was. A carefully orchestrated illusion, designed to make you feel small, designed to keep you second-guessing yourself, designed to keep you trapped in an invisible cage. They built a system where questioning was discouraged, where obedience was rewarded, where speaking the truth made you a target. And for a while, you played along. You thought that if you just did the right things, followed the unwritten rules, proved yourself enough, that you would be accepted, that you would be safe. But now, you know the truth. There was never any safety in submission. There was never any fairness in their game. There was never any truth in their version of reality. And that realization is what terrifies them. Because they needed you blind. They needed you to believe in the lies. They needed you to accept their version of events without question. They needed you to see yourself as less than, unworthy, incapable. Because if you saw clearly, if you realized who you truly were, they would have no power over you. And now, their worst fear has become reality. You see them for what they are. You see the cracks in their mask. You see the manipulation, the deception, the web of lies they spent years spinning, and you are no longer fooled. And what does a liar do when they can no longer fool you? What does a manipulator do when their tactics stop working? What does a deceiver do when their control begins to slip? They panic. And that's exactly what's happening right now. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way they've become more erratic, more desperate, more reckless. The way they're scrambling, grasping, trying to regain control. They see you walking away, and they don't know what to do. They see you standing in your power, and they can't comprehend how their tricks no longer work. because for so long they were able to pull the strings without you realizing it. For so long they could make you doubt yourself with just a few carefully placed words. For so long they had you believing that they were the ones in control. But now you know better, and a chosen one who sees. That is something they can never control again. Because the moment you see the game, you stop playing by their rules. The moment you recognize their manipulation, it no longer affects you. The moment you understand that their power was never real, it evaporates into nothing. They are terrified because they have nothing left to hold over you. No more guilt, no more fear, no more confusion. And without those things, their illusion collapses. Because what is a puppet master without strings to pull? What is a deceiver without blind followers? What is a manipulator when the ones they once controlled have broken free? They are nothing, and that's the part they never planned for. They always assumed you'd stay in the dark. They always assumed you'd keep doubting yourself. They always assumed you'd never break free, but you did. And now they are powerless, because their entire system was built on keeping you from waking up, on keeping you from realizing that you were never under their control to begin with, on keeping you in a cycle of doubt, insecurity, and silence. But the spell has been broken, and now they are the ones who don't know what to do. They can no longer manipulate you. They can no longer make you feel guilty for standing in your truth. They can no longer twist reality to make you question yourself. And that is why they are afraid. Because a chosen one who sees is unstoppable. You are unstoppable. And no amount of deception can ever change that again. Number 8. They didn't expect a reckoning, but now it's here. Lies don't last forever. Control doesn't last forever. Illusions don't last forever. But truth is a force that never dies, and now it's coming for them. For so long, they thought they were untouchable. They built their empire on deception, on manipulation, on the carefully crafted belief that they would always be the ones in control. They silenced anyone who questioned them, erased anyone who saw too much, destroyed anyone who got too close to exposing their game. They were certain they could hide forever. But they forgot something. Lies always have an expiration date. Because no matter how carefully they stack the cards, no matter how many layers of deceit they wrap around themselves, no matter how many people they turn against you, truth finds a way. And you were the one who forced it into the light. They didn't plan for someone like you, someone who wouldn't just accept the script they handed you, someone who wouldn't just turn a blind eye to the corruption, the hypocrisy, the blatant double standards, someone who would look them dead in the eye and say, "I see what you're doing." That's when the panic started. That's when they knew their time was running out. Because every system built on lies eventually crumbles. It's happening now, right in front of them. The foundation they thought was unshakable. It's cracking. The illusion they thought would last forever. It's dissolving. The power they thought they could hold on to indefinitely. It's slipping through their fingers. And they have you to thank for it. You didn't come for revenge. You didn't need to. Because the greatest revenge is the truth they tried to bury now, rising like fire through the cracks in their foundation. The walls they built to keep you silent, they're caving in. The lies they told to keep people in line, they're unraveling. The control they clung to with everything they had, it's turning to dust in their hands. They thought they could outrun the reckoning. They thought that if they covered their tracks well enough, if they convinced enough people to doubt you, if they made the illusion convincing enough, they could keep the truth buried. But the truth doesn't stay buried. Not when a chosen one refuses to let it die. They tried to break you before you could expose them. They tried to turn others against you before they could listen. They tried to twist reality before you could shine a light on it. And now, it's too late. The ones they fooled are starting to wake up. The ones they manipulated are starting to ask questions. The ones who blindly followed them are beginning to realize they were being led off a cliff. And them? They are running out of places to hide. Because when the truth starts coming to the surface, there is no stopping it. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the right time. It doesn't care who it offends. It destroys everything in its path until nothing is left but what was always real. And that's why they're afraid. That's why they're scrambling. That's why they are turning on each other, looking for someone to blame, desperately trying to regain the control they once had. But there is no going back now. The reckoning is here. You are no longer the one being hunted. You are no longer the one fighting to be believed. You are no longer the one struggling to expose them. Now, they are the ones running from accountability, running from exposure, running from the truth they spent their entire existence trying to keep hidden. And the best part? They did it to themselves. Because deception is like poison. It always comes back to the one who spreads it. Because control is like a cage. Those who build it for others always end up trapped inside. Because power built on lies is like a house of sand. All it takes is one wave to wash it away. And that wave, that's you. They didn't expect this. They didn't think they would ever have to answer for what they did. They didn't think they would ever lose control. But now they are watching their entire empire crumble before their eyes. And you're standing tall in the middle of the wreckage, unshaken, undefeated, unstoppable. Because in the end, the truth always wins. And today, that truth is you. Number 9. They wanted to break you, but they ended up breaking themselves. When you dig a grave for someone else, be careful. You might just fall into it yourself. They thought they were setting you up for failure, but instead, they were digging their own downfall. And now, their own darkness is swallowing them whole. They thought they had you cornered. They set the traps carefully, planting lies, spreading rumors, turning people against you before you even had the chance to defend yourself. They manipulated situations, twisted narratives, and did everything in their power to make you doubt yourself, doubt your worth, doubt your own mind. Because they never wanted to defeat you fairly. They never had the strength to face you head on. They had to play dirty. They had to sabotage from the shadows, whisper in the ears of those around you, manufacture chaos to make you look like the villain while they pretended to be the victims. They threw every trick, every deception, every cowardly attack they could at you, thinking that if they hit you enough times, you would finally break. But what they never considered, what they could have never imagined, was that every time they tried to destroy you, they were actually sealing their own fate. Because karma doesn't forget. The universe isn't blind. It keeps score, it remembers, and it always balances the scales. And now, the same darkness they sent your way is returning to them tenfold. Everything they did to you is now happening to them. The same betrayal they orchestrated against you, it's circling back to them. The same lies they spread about you. Now they're drowning in deception themselves. The same people they turned against you. Now those same people are walking away from them. They are watching in real time as the very traps they set for you become the holes they can't crawl out of. Because deception is a poison. And the thing about poison, it always seeps back into the hands of the one who created it. They thought they could play with fire and never get burned. They thought they could destroy you and never face consequences. They thought that if they threw enough dirt on your name, no one would ever look closely enough to see their own hands covered in filth. But now, the mask is slipping. Now, the lies are unraveling. Now, the same people who blindly followed them are starting to ask questions. Now, the very darkness they sent after you is coming for them instead. They are paranoid, restless, anxious, watching as their world begins to fall apart. They feel the energy shifting. They know something is coming. And deep down, they know exactly why. Because they created this chaos, this downfall, this reckoning. It wasn't you, it was them. Because you survived. You refused to be broken. You walked through every fire they tried to burn you with, and instead of turning to ashes, you came out stronger. And now they're the ones being destroyed. Not by you, not by anything you did, by their own darkness. Because when you live a life built on deception, eventually the walls close in. When you hurt people for your own gain, eventually the pain finds its way back to you. When you manipulate, lie, and betray, eventually you become trapped in the very chaos you created. And that's exactly what's happening to them right now. They are losing sleep, losing control, losing everything they thought they had. And for the first time, they are experiencing what they put you through. They are feeling the isolation they forced upon you. They are dealing with the whispers behind their backs, the betrayal from those they trusted, the weight of being exposed. And it's not because you wished for revenge. It's because this is what happens when you build a life rooted in darkness. It consumes you. It twists around you like a noose, squeezing tighter and tighter until there is nowhere left to run. And them? They are running out of places to hide. You don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to say a word. You never had to destroy them because they did it to themselves. And now, they're finally realizing it. The same people they used to control you are turning on them. The same deception they relied on is crumbling beneath them. The same power they once had is slipping from their hands. Because the truth is this: they never had power. They only had the ability to manipulate. And once the manipulation stops working, so does their control. Now they are watching in horror as their empire collapses. Now they are living in the chaos they once created. Now they are breaking, piece by piece, moment by moment. And you don't even need to watch, because you already won. So listen to the chosen ones. They thought they could erase you. But now they're the ones running scared. Because you didn't just break free, you exposed them. You dismantled their illusion. You took back your power, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. If you're done being manipulated, if you're ready to reclaim your power, like this video, subscribe and drop the number 777 in the comments. Because the chosen ones, we don't just survive, we rise. And when we rise, the entire system burns. The reckoning has begun. Let's keep rising.